All right, folks, welcome back to our little video series on creating an animatronic horror bear. In the last video, we created the eyebrows so that we could possibly animate them to move if we wanted to give the character some expressions. Did one of the ears, the hat, um, and then the eyeball with some eyelids. Now we're gonna go ahead and I think try to do his top of his head. We'll save the bottom jaw for last, with the teeth, but we'll try to do kind of this little area here since it would all be one complete piece. So let's go ahead and start with going to workspace, choosing general. Let's reset to current workspace. We'll go to file, set project, find our Fred project, hit set. If you haven't already done so, go open scene and open number 12, and then do a file save scene as, and let's call this number 13. All right, so we should have our outliner open. If you don't, go to Windows, Outliner, be on the modeling drop down, and let's see what we can do with this. One thing I am noticing real quick while I'm thinking about it, our eyebrow, mine is a little small, so what I'm going to probably try to do is scale it up a little. Oops, that is not scaling quite the way I want. There we go. I'm going to grab from the top view and scale it up that way to kind of fill that shape a little better. Um, all right. So now what we'll do is I think we will start with a sphere for the head, and then we'll kind of see what we can do with it. Normally, when I model out shapes, I will probably use a cube and start working on that. But this little guy has such a rounded shape that it's probably easier to start with a sphere so that we get that nice round shape. So I'm going to go to click on sphere to create it. Go ahead and pull it up. Put it kind of in the spot where the head would be. And then I'm going to again use the front view as my positioning, since the side view may be a little off compared to the location of the front. I'm going to take, I think what I'm going to do is put this second line here right below the top hat. And I'm going to go ahead and scale it up a little bit, or actually, let's just start working with vertices first. So I'm going to go to vertex mode. I'm going to grab these vertices up here, and I'm going to scale them flat. We're not going to see unless you pull his hat off, which we may have to take that into account. So let's actually, in case somebody does take the hat off, we will leave that curve there. But I am going to grab this one right here, this row. Actually, let's go ahead and grab, oops, nope. There we go. I'm going to grab those three rows. I'm going to scale them widthwise to kind of fill the shape. Grab this row, scale it up to fill the shape. And then this one, kind of work my way, just kind of getting the shape down first from the front view. Now, obviously, it's going to change a little bit from the side view because a lot of this shape is towards the back of his head, not the entire head. But I'm going to go ahead and pull this one. So just kind of keep going down, trying to shape them as best you can to make the shape of our character's little face here. And again, we were going to flatten that one out, but since we made the hat to where it could possibly come off, we don't want to flatten his head and then have it look funny when his hat comes off. So let me go back up here and kind of stretch that one a little more. All right, let's go look at that. So doesn't look bad from that view, but now we have to start looking at the front view, or sorry, the side view. So I'm going to go side view, and we will start with, I think I'm going to grab this row right here, pull it, and I'm going to have to move it manually. So for the side view, I am going to scale accordingly and move accordingly front to back. But I am not going to move my character's head up or down. So I'm kind of just trying to get them centered a little bit. Bring that down a hair. So now I'm just kind of working my way around. I am going to stop once I get to the snout, though, because once we get to the snout, then things are probably going to change a little bit. We'll have to look at our front view again. Um, yeah, I'm just moving them. And in this case, now I've gotten to where I am taking them, trying to center them in the spacing that I have. And then I'm scaling them up or down accordingly so that they hopefully go evenly. Let's see. So let's see what that looks like at this point. Okay. So now what we have to start paying attention to is the snout is going to come out, and then where the bottom jaw is, it actually needs to go in. So what I'm going to do is let's try to pull. I don't know what it's going to look like, but we're going to give it a go. I'm going to select all of these from basically just below where the top jaw is. I'm going to grab all of those, even go down and grab these. We are going to see what it looks like if we scale it flat and then pull it backwards. Doesn't look bad. I mean, it's going to be hidden by the jaw anyways, so it may actually work for us because this jaw will kind of just sit in there and then it will be able to pivot. So then we have to figure out, okay, where's his nose? And so what I'm going to do is go around here and grab the ones that would make the snout. And we may have to do this whole thing. And actually, you know what? Let's see how this looks. Let's do this before we'll just extrude those out instead. But let's do this. I'm going to pull these back some. And see if I like that. Okay, I think we'll leave it actually where it is, and then we'll just extrude out. So undo that. Let's go ahead and select the faces where his snout should be. And then, oh, we don't want those because that'll just mess everything up. So I think that'll work for the snout pieces. And then we'll do Control E. And we'll just pull forward. I'm going to put them towards the end of the snout in the side view. I'm going to grab my scale tool, scale it inward to kind of match where his nose should be. Then I'm going to pull it down to kind of match. And I mean, it's blocky, but we can make it work. We'll be able to tweak some stuff. So then I'm going to go to Vertex. Actually, I'm going to turn on Symmetry for right now for Object X. That way it selects my vertices. I'm going to start moving these points to where they kind of match up with our character's snout shape. Oops, nope, did not mean to do that. And then if we want, so right now it's kind of a, and I think it may actually work like that, but if you wanted it to be more of a subtle bend in, you could kind of move these out so that they're not quite as over and then straight out. I am actually going to select these though, and looking at my side view, I'm going to pull them into place where I want them. Oops, let's undo that because I grabbed one down here by mistake. We'll pull those up into position. Those are a little high, but that'll work. This I think will be nice to bring down a hair. And I'm gonna grab my main tip of my nose, bring it up and out. And we may even, actually, let's leave it flat because I think we may do another extrusion. I'm gonna bring this guy up, kind of level it out with the line that it's connected on. Yeah, I think we'll do one more extrusion for that little nose piece. And then I'm going to go ahead real quick and go to object mode and press number 2 on my keypad so I can see what it looks like smooth, but also with the geometry. I kind of like that. I'm actually not too upset with it. Um, so yeah, that I think will work. So now I'm gonna go ahead and select it, press 1 again on my keypad for right now. And I think we're gonna go ahead and go to face mode, select these. Then I'm gonna turn off symmetry for now. I'm gonna do Control E again. This time I'm gonna grab my scale block and scale it down. Try to get it close to the shape of our nose here. Then I'm going to go to vertex mode. Let's turn symmetry back on for X. Start putting it into position, the different points to make kind of the shape of the nose. Or so do kind of like that. And then we can go face mode and we'll see. I don't like it like that because then it includes all that. So let's do Control Z. I'm gonna do Control E one more time. And I'm gonna extrude it out. We'll have to move some vertices around, but I want it to kind of be its own little separate connection. So looking at the side view, we turn back on vertex mode. Looking at the side view, there's not really a distinct shape here. So I'm just going to go pull this one out, try to average it between those two. Same thing here. Try to pull it out here, average it up between those. Let's see. Guess even the front or the side here, we could pull out, pull it up to average, but then we also want to look at it from this side and kind of average it out. That way it's there, but it's not super defined, like, and even these down here, we'll pull them up a hair so that they kind of match the contour of our example. And so I'm just really moving them around to touch them up until I see a shape that I'm happy with that nose being on there. And I'm actually not too upset about that. Let's see. So we will need to either bring the eyeball out some or we'll have to indent this some. Uh, but let's go back to object mode. Let's do number 2 again just to see what it looks like. I mean, it's not that bad. I'm actually kind of happy with that for doing it as quickly as we did. If we wanted, we could grab the eyebrow. Let's go ahead and pull that forward so it kind of comes out of the character. Let's shift click all of the eye parts. Pull that out a little bit so we can see it come out of the character some. I think we will have to indent the eye socket a little bit, and we'll only do the one side. That way, and then we'll cut the head in half and then just mirror it. But I think we're getting somewhere with this. So I'm going to go ahead and select the head again. Press 1 again on my keypad. Some other spots that we will try to do. Let's go ahead now that we kind of pulled the eyeball out. Let's go ahead and try to select the faces around it. So mainly, think these here. Whoops. Let me grab my selection tool. And let's do Control E. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off symmetry. Oop. Let's see what it does. Oh, I think I should have turned off symmetry. Well, no, it's actually doing pretty good. We got symmetry off, and it's doing both sides pretty nicely. Again, we're going to cut one of the sides off, so let's go to vertex mode. And we may shift the eyeball over a hair, we'll see. I'm going to grab this vertex, and for right now, just to keep it looking symmetrical, I'm going to go ahead and turn this back on. But I'm going to move that over so I can try to create kind of a circular pattern around the eyeball. I'm just trying to create kind of a socket for it. And then I think I'm just going to bring this set in because that's kind of wide out there and I don't think we need it that far, but I don't want to, we'll see. Let's pull it in. Just don't want to change the shape of the head too much by pulling both of those just yet too far. I'm gonna pull that down to create the circular shape. Same thing there. Same thing there. I guess we'll bring that one in a hair. And then this one, bring in a hair. All right, I'm going to go back, look at, it ain't bad. We'll probably tuck that in a little further. Oops. Push number 1 to go back. All right, so now what I'll do is, I think I'll go face mode and actually turn off symmetry. Just going to select that one. Select these again. And let's go ahead and do Control E, scale it in one more time, but this time we're going to bring this smaller one over to put right behind the eyeball. We'll shift the eyeball most likely over a little bit. And then I'm going to, I think, try to go to scale on the side, flatten that thing. That may or may not work. We'll see. I'm going to pull it in so there's a socket there. I think that'll work, and we'll just pull this edge back out. So let's try that real quick. Let's go to edge mode. Actually, I'm going to do vertices. I prefer the vertices. Now we're literally only working on this one side since we've turned off symmetry. Pull that out a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab in object mode my eyeball. I'm going to kind of center it in that socket and see what I can do with it. All right, so it's still kind of in there. Maybe let's scale those up a hair. All right, now let's just start trying to move vertices around to kind of squeeze them closer to the eyeball. I'm going to select all of these, pull them over, select these two, pull them up a hair. This one pull closer and up. And I think we'll be able to make this work in a little while anyways with the way we color it and texture it, but we'll see. We may have to do some last minute adjustments. Try to pull these over a hair. Oops, I did not grab my other one. Grab the ones behind it. I meant to grab this one in the front. So really, we're just kind of touching it up now to get it to look the way we want. We probably could have left the eyeball just kind of sitting on there and it would have been just fine, but I figure if we're learning how to use this software, you might as well practice with everything. All right, I'm gonna go to object mode, click away. Definitely need to clean up some of the vertices now. So what I'm gonna try to do is go to vertex, drag a box around this kind of section. And then I'm gonna do shift, right click and hold and choose average. See what it does. Didn't do too bad actually. It actually, I think, did pretty good for it. So we may play some more with it. I also want to put some definition to those eyelids a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and go object mode, select my eyelids and eyeball, push those a little further in. I think that may work. Let me scale it down again. but we'll keep playing with that as we go. Um, then if we do number 3 to see what it looks like smooth, I think that will work for right now. We still got some more to do on it, but I think that's a good stopping point for now. I'm going to press 1 to take it back to its uh, poly shape, basically. Um, Next video, I think what we'll do is we'll add some more of these little details. Then we'll cut it in half, mirror it, and then we'll get ready to start on his lower jaw. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a file save, but I think we got a good start to his head. We'll see you in the next video. Good luck.